Hi, my name is Frank Socorro, and I am a Grammy-nominated mixing engineer. I'm here to let you know that I've wanted to provide you with another chance to watch me mix in a live mixing seminar. Well, the seminar will go down on September 20th through the 26th. Slots are limited, so please go ahead and visit musicexpo.co/Frank for more information and to register. I look forward to seeing all of you there.
This is how we do the intro now. We upsell from the beginning. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are joining us. We are back with our monthly live stream with our good friend, Frank Socorro. Frank, how are you?
I'm good. Happy to be back. I missed you guys. I haven't seen you in 4 weeks.
It went super fast. And it's the end of, it's almost the end of the summer. Do you have a fun summer?
It was pretty good. Yeah, really busy, but it was good. I enjoyed it. Oh, it's always summer here, so kind of doesn't.
It's true. It's always summer where you are. In San Francisco, it's not always summer, hopefully, because right now it's been basically gray sky for the last 2 months. All right. So as everybody's joining us, we want to welcome you. My name is Loic Maestrecci. I'm the host. Actually, I'm not the host, founder of Music Expo, but by now you all know us. Please drop a 1 and let us know where you join us from. You've probably seen the video. We have something super exciting. Frank, in about 10 days, you're gonna do a live seminar. Can you tell us more about the live seminar? And I will maybe flash an image here.
Well, so if you didn't catch that fantastic video right before we started, we're going to be doing a live mixing masterclass, and we did one before. We did one at the top of the year. We did one in January, and it went really well. So we thought we'd do one again. Basically, what it is we take an entire week, and you and I will log on, and I'll do a mix from scratch. And every day I tackle a different aspect of the mixing process or my mixing process. And you guys are there with me along the way. We're doing the whole thing. We're doing it together. I give you guys time in between the mixing sessions to work on stuff and then come back and I listen to what you did and, give you guys some hopefully useful feedback. And we work on the entire mix together. Like we sit there and you guys, it's like if you were my assistant in the room and you got to just sit there through the entire mix. So we break it down over a week. It gives you guys lots of time to answer questions. And then on the last day, we talk about, getting prepared for mastering or sending it up. And then last time we had the producers come on the chat. So I think we're going to be able to do that again this time. And it gives us a chance to talk to the producers and seeing, what they thought about the mix and, just the whole process of, everything that happens during the mix. So it's a really fun thing. You guys get to see me have a nervous breakdown. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to have a nervous breakdown. But you guys get to see me just go through my entire thought process of mixing a song and how everything is different and approaching things. And it's just, I think it's a cool chance to get some really, really good insight and kind of be a fly on the wall. Coffee Shot Studio said, I'm still going back through the recordings from January and picking up nuggets of inspiration. Thank you. Somebody, Space Monkey Studio says, what genre is it this time? It's going to be kind of an urban pop stuff. This one's going to be a little bit more urban than the other one. Production wise, it's still singing. It's going to be a female artist. Hey, Albert, didn't recognize you there, Space Monkey. So yeah, it's going to be it's still kind of more on the pop side, but the production is going to be a lot more hip hop R&B oriented. So it should be really, really fun. And the vocalist this time is not that the last one wasn't. She's Justin Timberlake's background singer, so of course she was great. But this one, it's a younger vocalist. Her voice is it sounds younger. She has a kind of a sweeter voice than Xenia, so it should be really interesting. So I hope to see some of you guys there. Should be fun. I know there's some slots available, and Loic just said because you watch live, he's giving you 20% off. James, yes, 600 tracks of acoustic guitar. That's definitely what's. That's right. That's right.
That's it. 600.
All played with no click, by the way, James. So it's all no click.
And James, as you can see, James is still like 10 months later, 9 months later, still enjoying the recordings.
Yeah, which is really nice that that one, they haven't been posting stuff on YouTube making fun of me, and two, that you're able to actually keep those videos and watch them later on. Because yeah, it's sometimes it's hard while it's happening to kind of go back and or ask questions. Sometimes you just get caught up, but being able to go back and watch them is definitely a plus. I wish I could watch them. Why can't I watch them? Can I watch them?
I said, like everybody else who attended, you should have received a link to the videos. There is actually one extract.
I got an email from you saying there was a problem with my credit card payment not going through, so maybe that's why I didn't get the videos.
There was a oh my god, blanking. There is, if you go to the YouTube page, the Music Expo YouTube page, you will see, and you search for LA2A versus 76 compressor comparison, and that's actually a 2 or 3 minute video where Frank explained the differences between the two and why you like it, and that's an extract from the masterclass that Frank did in January. Anyway, enough of the upsell. I just want to make sure you all knew that this was happening, and sort of it's going to be 5 days, 2 hours a day, huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and you can ask any questions. And the only thing I can tell you is it's most likely guaranteed that by the end of the session, your mix will improve. Even when we listen to what the folks had done during the
during the week.
It was incredible. Everybody but me. Anyway, this is it. So Frank, you got a couple of submissions.
We do.
You don't need me. I'm going to put you straight on the camera, and you're going to play the tracks. And really, if you don't know, you can comment on the chat here. Sometimes I'll pull up the chat. I'm going to try also to put the names of the tracks. I don't have them. Frank, you didn't send
I'll say them. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I will say the names. Actually, it's kind of hard to read that. I will say the names.
Maybe you can tag them and I will do a banner. But I'm putting Coffee Shop Gems all the way from Australia. So good morning to you, who's giving a bit of testimony. Really enjoy your class. All right, let's get to the tracks.
Cool. So
I'm out. I'll see you in a minute.
Bye, Loic.
Bye.
All right, guys. So it's just me. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. So I hope you guys can see that. If you guys can see it, please give me a numero uno. Cool. Well, I hope you guys are all ready for a super cool ride. Thank you. First of all, everybody who submitted a song, you guys were super cool. By doing this again, I always tell people, like, you're really brave for doing this, because we all know how stressful it is to letting other people hear your music, let alone somebody actually critique it live on the air, as well as let other people, just random strangers hear it. So I really appreciate you guys. The reason we do this is to give information, but also, to foster the community that Loic has been working on for very long at Music Expo. So thank you guys again for doing this and giving me something to do on a Thursday night. I love you. Thank you. All right, let's get started. The first track is from, I have Alzara Getz, and the track is called Razorblades. I hope I have said that correctly, and I hope I said it in the correct order, unless it's Razorblades, and then the song is called Alzara Getz, but I think I got it right the first time. Here we go. This is the very first song. Sorry about that. All right. So that was Razorblades, Alzara Getz. Super nice job. Really, really, really well recorded. The mix is really good. I like where the voice is sitting. It was sitting very nicely on top of the track. This is a scenario where I feel like the vocal being on top really made sense. The track sounded really good. It was very well put together. My critiques about the track, again, you guys have been here before. You know me. The kick. I wish there was a little bit more bottom on the kick. I feel like with the amount of space that was on the track, the kick could have had like a really kind of big round, just like a, kind of thing. And I felt like that would have really helped. Just made the record just feel bigger and with more powerful. I get it, it's a soft song. It's like, it's gentle, and that's okay. But you can have like this kind of solid bass. I think it would have been a little bit more. John mentioned more dynamics. I thought the dynamics were okay, especially where like you can hear things coming in and out. When the harmonies come in, I thought that was really nice. I think the lead guitar there that comes in, that little solo, I think that could have been a little bit louder. So yeah, I just think overall I could have used a little bit more power, and I think it would have worked. I think a good reference for something like this is like a lot of like older bossa nova records where the bass plays such a big part in the record, and even though it's like this soft, like gentle, breezy kind of vibe, the bass plays a huge part, and it makes the record kind of move forward and kind of ground it sometimes, which I think is important. I hear some people are getting a little bit of static. I don't know what that's from, but I'll see if there's anything I can do. Okay. So that was Alzara Getz, Razorblade. Super, super nice, super nice. The next one is Gustavo Arria, and it's called Descontrolao. So I'm going to play that.
Estamos bien descontrolados, de seguro y lo mueve lado a lado. En el party siempre arrebatado, tú y yo siempre bien volados. Estamos bien descontrolados, de seguro y lo mueve lado a lado. En el party siempre arrebatado, tú y yo siempre bien volados. Es que si me ves me vas a ver en el VIP. Es que yo a ti te deseo. Mami, yo te doy a ti. Es que yo a ti te deseo. Esa tentación en tus ojos leo, y por eso te como si te veo. Esa tentación en tus ojos leo, y por eso te como si te veo. Lo dejamos en el abejo. Ahora estamos en el Lambo y hago lo que quiero. Yo me gasto mi dinero, y es que baby, yo hago lo que quiero. Estamos bien descontrolados, de seguro y lo mueve lado a lado. En el party siempre arrebatado, tú y yo siempre bien volados. Estamos bien descontrolados, de seguro y lo mueve lado a lado. En el party siempre arrebatado, tú y yo siempre bien volados. Cuando tú estás, es que todos nos miran. Es que tú estás bueno, mami, que vida. Es que tú estás pendiente que dirán. Y yo estoy así viviendo mi vida.
All right. That was Gustavo Arria with Descontrolao. First, I would like to say that the vocal sounds like it was recorded, maybe not with the best mic. Something about it. It sounds very thin. And it also sounds like there might be like a gate on it, and a gate might be a little bit too aggressive because it sounds like some of the words are getting cut off. So please be careful with that if you are gating. The vocal seems to be EQ'd kind of like very thin. I know a lot of people want to get like this bright, like top endy vocal, but you have to be careful when you scoop too much out of the middle because the vocal loses presence. So it's easy for it to get buried in the mix. As far as the track, I like the track. I just wish that there would have been some more space created. It all, like, the keyboard in the beginning is cool. It's kind of spacey, but then when the drums come in, everything's kind of like in the middle and crunched together. And the kick, you know what I'm going to say, low end. It had the potential for it. I can hear that it's there. It just needs to be brought out. And I think just adjusting that balance would make it all even more catchy. I think what he's saying is pretty catchy. The melody's kind of fun. And the bounce on it is really good. I just think that sonically it's being held back. So the song is being held back by the mix in this case. And that's something that definitely happens. Like a mix that doesn't enhance the important parts of the mix and make the vocal stick out and make it feel like it's the most important thing in the world, can hold the song back and make the song feel like it's not all the way there. So the parts are there. They just need to be rebalanced, and I think it could work. So cool. I'm letting the songs play a little bit longer today, guys, just because we don't have as many. And I actually like this format a little bit more. When we have too many tracks, I have to cut it short, and you don't really get the full experience. So this actually works really well. So Loic, from now on, maybe we kind of cut it at 15, because I think this works way better at letting us hear more of the song. All right, so moving on. The next one is Hadassah, Chavivah. I hope I got that right. Zeitzer. I hope I got that right. Hadassah, if you're in this crowd, and I butchered your name, please, I apologize. All right, here we go.
This road with me, the one of hope and dignity. Surrender souls to the light. Leave the dark behind, nothing to lose except your mind.
All right, that was Joy. I think we got that wrong. Look, I think that's actually the person's whole name, and the name of the song is Joy. Kyle said Cowboy Bebop vibes. Definitely. This was really cool. I like the song a lot. I like the idea. I like all the music. The mix, I think there was a couple of points that I think if we're corrected, this could be really, really good. The sibilance on the vocal. The vocal is very sibilant. So those S's they're piercing. So you need to be careful with that because that makes it hard for the listener to continue listening. I know everybody wants to have a bright vocal. I get it. Like it sounds professional when it's really bright. It sounds like it's finished, but you have to be careful because you can overdo it. When you overdo it, it sounds bad and it sounds like you don't know what you're doing. So there's a balance there. The music I felt could come up. There's a really cool bass line going on in there, and I didn't feel it cutting through. I feel like the bass, if there's a reference, Tanya Gardner, Heartbeat. I think the bass on this song could do what the bass on that song did, which is like it's totally the groove, and the piano I felt could come up. I think that overall that would just make it really, really fun, because it sounds like the vocals way on top of everything. And I think if it was brought back and kind of blended in a little bit better, and that piano was brought up and that bass was really like, a main focus, I think that would bring the whole track together. That's what I would do in the mix. I would bring that bass up and just get the groove like super solid, and then add everything else on top and get it to like all work together. But overall, the track is really cool. Everybody seems to like it, and I agree. When I heard it earlier today, I really liked it a lot. I just think mix-wise, and obviously that's why you guys are here, right? You guys want this information. So, Hadassah, if you're out there, if you're listening, if you get to watch this later, I think just a rebalancing, watch the sibilants, the S's, they're a little bit harsh, and just bring that bass up and make the piano kind of like be more important. And I think you got a good record on your hands. Cool. All right, let's move on to the next one. So this one is Kaushal Shah. I hope I said that right. And this is a cover of Return of the Mack. This is actually pretty fun. So here we go.
Well, I try to tell you so, but I guess you didn't know. As I said, the story goes, baby, now I got the flow. Cause I knew it from the start, baby, when you broke my heart, that I had to come again and show you that I'd win. You lied to me, even though you know I'd die for you. You lied to me, yes I cried, yes I cried. Return of the Mack, return of the Mack, return of the Mack. You know that I'll be back. Return of the Mack, return of the Mack, return of the Mack. You know that I'll be back. So I'm back up in the game, running things to keep my swing, letting all the people know that I'm back to rock the show. Cause what you did, you know was wrong, and all the nasty things you've done. So baby, listen carefully while I sing my comeback song. You lied to me, cause you said you'd never turn on me. You lied to me, but you did, but you did. You lied to me, all this pain you said I'd never feel. You lied to me, but I do, but I do. Return of the Mack, return of the Mack, return of the Mack. You know that I'll be back. Return of the Mack, return of the Mack, return of the Mack. You know that I'll be back. Return of the Mack, return of the Mack, return of the Mack.
All right. Super fun. That record, first of all, very bold, because redoing that record is kind of bold. Like, that's a really big record. But I like what you did. It kind of has like a Kandinsky meets Depeche Mode meets, somebody said early, Kieran said early 2000s vibe. Total like soundtrack, like maybe in that scene in Blade, in like the club one. Some kind of, I don't know. Somebody, if you were listening, Kaushal, you should probably try to pitch this to somebody, because I could totally see this in a movie. As far as the mix is concerned, I feel like the kick has a lot of attack on it, and although it pokes out and it's very clear of when it happens, it doesn't have enough body for me. So it's very ticky, which is cool to have that attack on the kick, but also has to kind of back it up with some more information. And so I feel like that was missing. The voice, the reverb was a little bit bright. So when you did your S's, they kind of like extended them. Something you guys can do, which I do all the time, is I put de-essers on my reverb. So if something's really bright and you send it to a reverb, that reverb is going to just accentuate that S. So if you put a de-esser on your reverb, you can get rid of a lot of that, and nobody's going to notice that there's a de-esser on your reverb, and you can really have it turned way down, on the de-essing on it, so like super aggressive, and nobody's going to notice because it's a reverb, and then it won't extend those S's like that, and it should feel better. It should still feel bright, but it won't be so harsh. I wish there was backgrounds on this. Honestly, I think one of the things for me is missing. I wish there was more vocal production stuff. Like the single voice is cool, but I feel like if there was more, and if there is, they need to be turned up because I didn't hear them. But other than that, everything else I was okay with. Like the rest of the mix, it was just those two things. The kick really was bugging me. Like it was really attacky, but not a lot of anything else. So yeah. But good job. I really like what happens in the chorus. It kind of gets dark. Which is not what you think of when you think of that song. But good job, man. It was super fun. So let's move on. This is Kieran de la Virgen. I hope I said that right. I first read it and I was like, Kieran de la Virgin? And then I was like, Kieran de la Virgen. That makes more sense. And this one is called He Ain't Right, and No Limit in parentheses. So here we go.
Shawty, let me know if I could put it on you. And I ain't tryna be a father, but fuck a condom. If I hit, gotta beat it up proper, yeah. Going around like a boxer. When I'm finished with that pussy, you gon' need to see a doctor. I don't think that you understand. I don't give a fuck if you got a man. Get your man out of the conversation. Your man out of the equation. Cause I want you. Shawty, I'm about to love you up. Girl, your man isn't doing enough, and you know that. I'll be the best that you ever had. Yeah, and I can show that. All I need is 1 minute. A single conversation where your man is independent. I could get your socials, baby, I could get your digits. So if you with it, I can slide up in it, put you through a little finish, yeah. Your man out of the conversation. Your man out of the equation. Cause I want you, and you got what I like, girl, you know he ain't.
Cool. That was Kieran de la Virgen. Again, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. I'm assuming that that's the way. It does say No Limit, and it is pretty bold. This is a cool record. I like it. I think it ticks a lot of the boxes for the genre. On the mix, though, first of all, it's kind of low. The mix is a little bit low volume wise, compared to most of the other stuff. It was pretty low. So be careful on how you're monitoring. Sometimes when you're listening to stuff really loud on your speakers, you tend to mix it a lot lower because you don't turn stuff up because it's already really loud. So be careful there. Overall, I think the track, I don't know if you were singing to a 2-track or if you had the stems, but the track seemed like everything was kind of like really together, like in a small space. And I feel like since there's not that much instrumentation going on, you have more space. So I see Kieran, you said it has no limiter and it peaks at 3, and that's totally fine. But but just because it peaks at 3 means that there's all kinds of space, because you're just peaking at 3. Your RMS is kind of important when we're talking about loudness. So you want to make sure that you kind of have overall just louder volume. It peaking at -3 is fine, but there's nothing to say that it can't peak at -1. Sometimes people hit me up and they're like, yo, how do I turn in a mix? Does it have to be -6 dB? And I go, turn it in as loud as you can without it clipping. Like, there's no rules here. You got to just do what's best for the record. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like overall, like the music just seems like kind of all together. And I feel like you could spread out a lot of those instruments and make space. And then your vocal can kind of sit in a kind of like a bigger space. The vocal is a little bit compressed, and I can notice it in the beginning when it's kind of mainly focused. It also sounds like the compressor is doing a little bit too much. I don't know if you're mixing in Pro Tools or if you're mixing in Logic or if you're mixing in Ableton, but just be careful with that compressor on the vocal. The reason I just said that is because this very much sounds like the compressor, the one that comes with Pro Tools. I don't know what compressor you're using, but it sounds like the compressor in Pro Tools and or the compressor in Logic. Oh, you're using Studio One. Okay. So it sounds like one of those two compressors, like the stock one, just because the way it kind of like crunched a little bit there. So just be careful with the compression. The way you're singing, I would try to like not compress as much, just because you're kind of like doing runs and being really dynamic. So if anything, maybe avoid the compressor and go for like automation, like literally like riding the vocal up and down all the way down to get you to that volume so you don't have to compress it. Other than that, I think everything else is kind of there. That was my main thing. It was just the record overall. It felt small because you weren't using up all your available volume and width on the record. I don't know what you're listening on, but it could be like your listening environment is maybe giving you some information that's not letting you maybe push it or push it out wide enough. I don't know, maybe you're mixing on headphones or maybe on some really small speakers. But there's definitely a lot more room there to push the record. And if you did, I feel like you would end up with a much better result. So, but the song's cool. I like it. And everybody else seems to like it, even though it has some explicit lyrics. But who doesn't like some explicit lyrics? All right, cool. Thank you guys. So let's move on. So this one's a special treat. This is actually a record that Loic did with Vicki Maldonado. Vicki's a regular here on the Mixed Critique. This is a record they did together. So this is actually kind of one of the reasons that Loic does this music expo. He just wanted to vibe with more people, and it worked out. So they did a song, and if you want to hear, here you go.
I'm not the type of girl that likes to play games, but for you, baby, I'ma play. And I'm not the type of girl that cares to save face, but for you, baby, I'ma save. You make me do things I never thought I'd do, but why is this happening to me? You gotta know that I'm losing all control here when you start talking to me. I never thought I'd get here, never thought it'd be so clear. You make me tremble inside. I gotta find my way out, caught looking at your damn mouth, getting distracted every time. Should I take a chance tonight? I'm gonna roll the dice. Chance tonight. Odds are on my side. Chance tonight. I'm gonna roll the dice. I'm gonna double down tonight. Should I take a on a hunch, but with you, I'm here gambling. And I'm not the type of girl who hooks up for fun, and well, that one isn't gonna change. I never thought I'd get here, never thought it'd be so clear. You make me tremble inside. I gotta find my way out. Caught looking at your damn mouth. Getting distracted every time. Should you take a chance tonight? I'm gonna roll the dice. Chance tonight. Odds are on my side. Chance tonight. I'm gonna roll the dice. I'm gonna double down tonight. Should I take a chance? Should I take a chance tonight? Should I double down just right?
Woo! Clap it up for these guys. The first mixed critique collab. I need 30% of the publishing though, so just letting you guys know. Super fun song like always. Vicki, you killed it. Super fun. My mixed critiques are the following. There's some sections where Vicki's voice is a little bit sibilant. Watch those S's. Look, I am going to be very tough. And then after this, I'm going to call you and berate you on the phone. No, I'm kidding. The mix is pretty good. It sounds like it's a little bit limited, like you kind of crushed it a little bit, which is okay in some instances, but I feel like it's hurting you here. Her vocal, I feel like could use a little bit more reverb. There's a lot of different parts. And so I feel like creating some space between those parts and kind of separating them would work really well. Because right now it sounds like she's on top of the track. So, and sometimes you guys hear me say like, oh, it's on top of the track. It's really good. And now it's like on top of the track. Is it bad? Like, Frank, what is it? Well, sometimes it's on top of the track and it feels like they're two separate things. Like you're making like, you know, the track's here and then you just threw the vocal on top. And so it doesn't feel like it's part of it, which is bad, right? So it's like somebody sends you a 2-track, you sing on top of it, you just kind of do what you can, and then you print them, and then that's it. Whereas sometimes the mix is really well done. Everything is nice and spread out and has its space, and then the vocal sits on top, kind of like the cherry on the top of a sundae, and it all makes sense. Loic said, how do you do this? Well, you have to create space in the track. So, you know, our hearing, maybe some of you are aware, some of you are not, but our hearing is not like, it's not a straight line. Like we don't hear like the frequencies, like from 20 hertz, which is the theoretical low part, to 20 kilohertz, which is the theoretical high part, which nobody can actually hear 20 kilohertz unless you're like 12 years old and you grew up in the mountains and you've never heard a car horn, maybe. But our hearing is actually kind of like this. Where's the camera? So it's right. So this part right here where my fingers are meeting, that's like the middle frequency of our voice. And that's what we hear the loudest. So all sounds tend to most sounds tend to focus around this frequency range here in the middle where your voice is. So why? Because obviously that's the frequency we hear the most. So why wouldn't we create instruments that are in that frequency range, right? So what ends up happening is as you're adding tracks to your song, you're filling up that middle space. And then when you try to get the vocal on it, you have to push the vocal way high so it sticks out. So what you have to do in your mix is you have to kind of start creating spaces and moving stuff out of the way so that when the vocal gets there, it's not competing with anything. And there's a few ways to go about it. One of them is EQing, like listening to stuff. Yes, ducking can do that, but if you do it too aggressively, ducking could cause like the sound of ducking so you could get the track would sound like it ducks and then it comes back. So you have to be very careful with ducking. You can do it with a multi-band compressor. So you can have it like the voice trigger the compressor and it duck that frequency. That's something that I do sometimes. But sometimes it's just listening to all the tracks and maybe not boosting everything in the similar area or trying to maybe cut out some, or maybe sometimes panning helps. I know like sometimes we'll do a piano and we'll be like, oh, this piano needs to go it needs to be hard left, right, because it's a main instrument. But realistically, if you then take that piano and pan it slightly to one side, and then you find something else that can kind of fill some of that space on the other side, you can have kind of like this cool balance, and then you have space for the vocal. Kyle said you can be lazy and just produce minimally so that the frequency range is mostly vacant. Yes, Kyle, that is correct. But I think for Loic's style of production, I think he likes this kind of groovy, just like kind of full, which I like too. I think it's cool. I think the production is super cool. I just think the mix needs a little work, and I think I don't think Vicki should ever work with you again, Loic. I think I think this is it. I think this was your only chance, and now you've blown it. And now Vicki's gonna move on, and there's gonna be a VH1 behind the music, and she's gonna talk about the mix critiques and how she used to come and join us, and she met Loic, but then it didn't work out. So you'll get like a black and white scene in the behind the music, and then it'll be like boom, 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 boom. All right, I'm joking. I love you guys. Thank you guys again, Vicki. Like always, superb. And Loic, great job as well. All right. Cool. So let's go. Next song, Tomás Echeverri. This one's called, I guess, Thanks, right? I hope so. Let's see what we got here.
Quiero mi vida por si muero, no me lloras. Ando con todos los míos todo el día caminando y fumándonos las flores. Recuerdo de pequeño, mamá siempre me decía, ya vendrá el tiempo mejores. Humo para la vibra y ganas y para los dolores. Sueño un gigante, un cielo en callejones. Un saludo para el que se quitó. No me preocupa, el karma ya se desquitó. Mi mente no se limitó. Con esa mala vibra no combino yo. Gracias a Dios por el don, mami, por la bendición. Del resto me encargo yo. Cantante como la voz. Y no regresan ahora que todo cambió. Y yo no sé mañana qué pasará. Si me voy lejos y todo acabará. Fuck dinero y fuck la fama. Yeah, no vale si tú no me amas. La meta siempre ha sido la calma. Vamos a ser millos sin mandar el alma. Quiero mi vida por si muero, no me lloras. Ando con todos los míos todo el día caminando y fumándonos las flores. Recuerdo de pequeño, mamá siempre me decía, ya vendrán tiempos mejores. Humo para la vibra y ganas y para los dolores. Sueño un gigante, un cielo en callejones.
All right, that was Tomás Echeverri. I hope I pronounced that right, Tomás. If I didn't, please let me know. Really good mix on this. The drums were fantastic on this. Really good balance. Right on, kind of like right in where they're supposed to be for the genre. The keyboards, everything super spacious. I really like where everything was set up in the mix. My main critique here is the vocal. I know that sound is really popular, like that kind of like, it's like really compressed and like EQ'd like really aggressively. But you have to be careful with it, especially with like R&B type stuff. It still, I feel like, has to have a little bit of more presence. It needs to feel like a little bit more in your face. And that's really my only critique. Like, and I know that's like a more of a vibe thing, like that EQ sound, like it's really popular right now. But I feel like it also takes away from the intimacy of what you're doing vocally. And I wish like if you did a little bit less of that and kind of had like this more, maybe not warm, I don't want to say that word because it's, I don't know, I don't really like that word, but just more present, more of like your actual voice cutting through. I think that would really make it a lot more special, and it would help the vocal kind of sit more in front. and it makes the listener sound like you're there with them. That's really my only critique. Everybody's talking about the effects. Yeah, the effects are awesome. Really, really nice work with the effects, with the delays and everything. All the throws, those are super cool. Is that a 16-note delay, John asked, or mostly a? There's an 8th note in there, which is super cool. Yeah, there's a pitch down. Thank you, Tomás. So the 8ths work really well. For those of you who are wondering, like, delay stuff and you're kind of like fighting with it, there's a trick you can do. If you filter the higher frequencies of an 8th note delay and you use that on your vocal, you can tuck it in, and it's not so obvious, like it's not sticking out like da 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 all the time, but it gives your voice like an ambience. And when the mix is right, you barely even hear it, but when it's gone and you take it out, you definitely notice it. So it's something like when it's there, you don't notice it, but when it's out, like you notice that it's missing, and it gives always the vocal always a nice ambience. It's something that I do a lot, and I use it sometimes instead of reverb. Just because it gives me a similar ambience to reverb, but like darker, and just fills up the space really nicely and makes the vocal feel like it's floating without necessarily having this like overt like reverb delay thing going on. So, but yeah, super cool. Good job, Tomás. I don't know if you mixed it yourself. If you did, really good job. The track sounded really good. So, and I look forward to all of you guys. If I gave you a critique and you want to come back next month and say, hey, look, Frank, I'm better than you, then please, I welcome it. I hope you guys all become amazing producers and engineers and mixers. That's really the point of all this. I don't do anything with holding on to any of this information. I need to give it to someone. John did a quick Google search and said, I just looked at presence and found this presence frequency 4 to 6. That's typically presence on the higher end of like the frequency spectrum. When I'm talking about presence, I mean like it feeling like it's close to you. And that usually happens a lot lower. It happens like between probably 400 and 800 hertz. And sometimes I'll actually boost that depending on the recording. You can get like that. So when I say presence, I mean like this kind of like closeness in your face. Like, again, I keep referencing like bossa nova. If you go listen to like Jobim records, especially like if you don't want to give yourself a hard time, go listen to Jobim's Girl from Ipanema and listen to the vocals on that and how they sound like they're like this close to you all the way here. And he's whispering, kind of sort of speaking really softly, and it just works. And that's actually something that I reference in all my vocals. Whenever I'm doing a vocal, like that's my like mental check. Like, does it feel like it's this close? Like if I'm wearing headphones, does it feel like the artist is like singing to me and me alone? Like I really like that feeling. And that's something that I strive for when I'm doing a mix. Cool. Yes, John, more perceived presence. Yes, Kieran, intimacy is what I'm referring to. Not presence in what John pulled up, that 4 to 6, even though that stuff is important because that gives us a lot of detail in the vocal. I'm talking about that like, well, I'm right here. I'm talking to you and you alone. Obviously, in some genres, it works better than others, like R&B, like it works really well. Obviously, bossa nova, it works really well. I wouldn't necessarily try it like on a track where people are screaming, but you never know. Screamanova? Did I just invent a new genre? No? All right. I'll just keep going then. All right. This one is from John Tippens, and this one is called Another Night.
Just another night out till I thought I saw. It's been almost 3 years since we called it off. There's no mistaking that tattoo on your arm. A ship at sea and an albatross. When our eyes meet, I know the night is ours. didn't even leave as friends. But now that I'm here with you, it's even better than before. And I'm okay with the way things ended if this is how they began. I haven't seen you in so long, but now I'm wondering where we might end up tonight. And I know that I was just so wrong, because I never thought we might have another night. I haven't seen you in so long, but now I'm wondering where we might end up tonight.
All right. John. That is really good. That's really good, man. The mix is really good. I like the kick. It was like super fat and but like it held down the track. The drums sounded really good. The keys were nice and spread out. You did a really, really good job. I love the vocal. I love the effect on the vocal. It sounds like there's like a kind of like maybe a slap or some sort of like harmonizer kind of thing on it, like a short reverb or something. But it's really, really cool, man. The chorus is amazing. Super good on the chorus. I'm just talking about the songwriting. The chorus is really, really good. That is a very good chorus, my friend. The kick mix is dedicated to me. Thank you. I take my kicks very seriously. And you did a really good job on it. I really like it. My only thing is, and it's funny because you brought up the delays on the previous song, was the delays. They're a little bit loud and they're a little distracting sometimes. And I like what they're doing. I just wish that they were a little bit further back in the mix. But other than that, it's like a super, super cool song. I like the vibe. It's very chill. Your effects definitely fit the song, which I think is something that we all learn as we go through this, is that sometimes there's a really cool effect, but it doesn't necessarily fit the song. And the effects you chose really, really fit the song today. So really, really enjoyed this. And again, super, super great job on the drums. They were like dry, but they were like thumping, like they were just there and kind of letting you know what they were doing. So really enjoyed this. My only critique is that some of the delay effects were a little bit loud for my taste. And the only reason I say that is because they were pulling my attention away from the lead vocal. Like they would happen and I'd be like, oh, what's that? And then I wasn't listening to the lyrics because I was listening to an effect. So maybe if they were brought back a little bit and, pushed away, or maybe make them pan somewhere, push them out of the way. I think that was it. But other than that, really, really nice job. Really nice job. All right. So we have one last track left. Because I'm an audio engineer. That's why what did he say? Loic's talking. He's mad at me now. What did he say? You listen to effects? No, I listen to lyrics, but sometimes the effects distract me from the lyrics and I go and I pay attention to the effect, which happens to most people. Because if you notice in this chat, like a lot of people were talking about the effects. So clearly everybody was also hearing them. So how about that? Okay. Okay. So last one, this one is from Kyle Clay. Kyle asked me to start at 2:37, but actually, Kyle, I'm going to start here at about 1:50 after this intro because some of this information then comes in a little bit later. So I'm going to play it from right here. So here we go. This one is called Dawn from Kyle Clay. Super cool. Oh, whoa. Pro Tools just kind of wigged out there. Sorry about that. All right. Sorry about that. Super cool. The buildup was great. I liked all the sections. The keyboards were amazing. I like that percussion loop thing. That's really cool, and I like where you placed it in the mix. I think it was really good. My only thing here is I just wish there was a little bit more low end on the kick. I think it can take it. I think you have the space for it sonically, and I think it would just kind of fill in the spaces a little bit more. That's my only thing. I think this was right on target for the kind of like vibes it was going for. I really like that little guitar, whatever loop thing that is. Unfortunately, I didn't play the beginning of it because it's really long. But if that beginning part, it kind of really looks as shall we had a session on kicks only. Yeah, we could do that. Maybe we could do that. Kicks in different genres too, because it's not all just about like low end on a kick, and it's not one way. It's like like John's low end on his song worked perfectly, and it had the depth that it needed. But I wouldn't necessarily do the same low end that John did on his record on like this record that Kyle did. Like it's different. They're all low end, but it's a little bit, it's just kind of like every song is special. It's like your kids. So, they all need a little bit different kind of attention to get them where they need to be at. But I really like this, Kyle. I think you did a really good job with the spacing of things. And then John asked, do you have a little article or something about how to add low end to your kick? I don't have like an article. And again, like what I was saying before, it's not like a one size fits all. And I hate saying this because this is so cliche, but it's really a feeling. You gotta like, the kick has to give you like this kind of thing, like, and that's actually one of the things that I experiment with the most. Like I'm always trying new plugins, and I'm always trying to find different ways to do things, and EQing and like reading techniques and like reading what other people are doing and trying it. Like it's something I'm constantly working on because I feel it's really important, just overall. You can use some MIDI magic and expansion to add low end on a kick, right? You can program another drum. I'm not a big fan of replacing other people's drums though. I know a lot of engineers that do that. Like they have like their set kicks that they'll use and they'll just drop it in. I don't like doing that because I feel like it's a little bit of overstepping. I try to take what everybody has sent me in the mix and I try to make that, how to make that work. Loic said a kick master. That's actually not a bad idea. Maybe just like a drums master class. Maybe we can get some people to submit tracks of just drums in some various genres, and we can kind of, I can kind of talk about that. That could be fun. I think maybe people would join that because that kind of is really important in a lot of genres, the drums. I don't know. Maybe we can do a canvassing look. People would be interested in something like that. Short, maybe a day. Yeah, that could work. If you guys would be interested in that, can I get a 1 in this chat right now? Yeah, drop her a 1 if you're into it. No ones. I'd also love to know more about drums. I'm kidding. I love drums. I love recording drums. I love mixing drums. Recording drums is probably one of my favorite things ever. So I don't get to do it that often anymore because my schedule is crazy and I spend most of my time mixing and teaching. But yeah, drums are awesome. Kick master class. I think drums. Obviously the kick is there. We can do like acoustic and then programmed and then maybe a couple of different genres. R&B kicks versus. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, mixing. Well, I guess we could do 2. We could do a recording one as well. I could invite some people who are awesome at drums as well. Maybe it's like a group thing. Loic doesn't know about drums because Loic is a keyboard player. So he plays the keys first and then he adds the drums. So drums are secondary to Loic. But that's not here nor there. Anyways, you guys, again, I don't know where Loic is. He's probably popping in anytime soon. Or he's just going to leave me. There he is. He's coming in. There he is. Shh, everybody be quiet. Hey, Loic.
Hey, I think there was feedback that I should be in front of the camera and in the middle. So first, Frank, sorry, guys, I apologize. I'm actually producing tonight. We don't have the pleasure of having Carmen, and you can feel it. That it's much better. It's much smoother when Carmen is here. So thank you for your patience. I will take this out. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your tracks. This was awesome. Please drop a 5 if you enjoyed this track. I enjoy it. Thank you, Frank, for spending a lot of time on each track. I heard great stuff today. Yeah, I heard great stuff. And I have a sense, do you have a sense that people who come back sound better?
Yes, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I think I
can hear you.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that keep coming back, they are improving. The same thing that happened with the masterclass. Like I think during that week, a lot of people learned stuff, and I enjoy doing this because obviously, seeing people progress is awesome. But I do think it's talk about more. Like, please, say something.
We're losing a bit of your audio, so that's maybe a signal that we need to transition to next. So, as you know, Frank, we talked at the beginning. Frank is hosting a 1-week live mixing seminar starting on September 20th, running through the 26th. You can find more information at musicexpo.co/Frank. And because you attend today, you can get 20% off the entire session using Mix Feedback 20 at checkout. So here the information is below us. So make sure go check out or hit me up, or Frank if you need more information. The session will be recorded, so you can go back. We learn from James that who attended the original session that Frank hosted back in January. He still watches the videos, so there's good content there. And this is content that we don't make available outside of the people who registered. I see a couple of good comments here. Kieran, this was my first time. I'll try to use a clean song this time. No, don't worry, man. This part of the disclaimer, it's part of the creative process. And as long as it's part of the creative process, we're totally cool. And if people are not cool about it, too bad. Look, some people even thought that Imagine by John Lennon was not an appropriate song at some point. So, there was a bit of crackle. We don't know. When we did the rehearsal before we joined in, it didn't happen. So sorry, James. John is already signed for Frank Week.
It's like Shark Week.
So it's like Shark Week, and he cannot wait. Well, guys, Albert also signed. Well, you have everybody attending. All right, so as you know the drill, we're done for today. Thank you so much. What we're going to do now is please join us for the meet and greet on Discord at the session. You should have the link in the confirmation email. Frank and I were going to pop in, and some of you, we can wait to see you again. Great job in submitting your track. We'll be back next month. Oh, Frank will be back next month. And I personally, since I'm on the camera, I want to personally thank Vicki because literally Vicki and I, we connected at one of those mix sessions, and she submitted incredible tracks in the past, and I love her voice. And I said, look, I'd love to collaborate, and it's been a fabulous pleasure collaborating with Vicki. We were chatting. We have to implement the feedback, Frank. So thank you so much. So we hope to. So Vicki, thank you so much for collaborating. I wanted to say that in front of everybody. It's an incredible pleasure and an honor to collaborate with you. And we see you. Good night, everyone. Frank, good night, and see you on the Discord.
Yep.
All right, bye, everyone. Bye-bye.